you hear that so much where the artists, they feel like they bound, they can't do it, they can't create what they want to create. So that makes their music subpar when they do create it, because they trying to appease to the record labels or the big wigs up there. And then they just fall out of love with it and then end up quitting,
Since I'm independent, I'm allowed to make like the music that I want to make.
Right.
But it's just like getting it at this point to resonate, you know what I'm saying, with the right audience, I guess you could say, you know what I'm saying? Like I was mentioning earlier about like finding like your niche or your pocket, because you'll be surprised. Like, a lot of like, when I look at my analytics and my numbers and stuff like that, a lot of my like core, I say like my core fan base be like people coming out of like Africa or Europe or, like further east, you know what I'm saying, and west.
This one is for the creators who were never meant to fit inside one box. All right, y'all, welcome to episode 52 of Sculpt N Create, where fitness fuels creativity as we tap into the journeys behind the artists, entertainers, and creators sculpting their own lane. I'm your host, Trea Da Fit Artist, and today we're stepping into the world of Saint, an alternative rap and hip-hop artist, producer, and creator who ain't too interested in fitting inside one particular box. Because when you're somebody who likes to experiment with sound, pull from different influences, and let real life shape what comes out creatively, sometimes figuring out where you fit ain't as important as having the courage to create what feels true to you. And that's where this conversation takes us. We get into Saint's journey from growing up in the church and stepping onto the stage through acting and musical theater to eventually finding another way to tell his story through music. We talk about the freedom and the grind that comes with being an independent artist, creating outside of traditional genre lines, producing your own sound, putting your work out into the world, and learning that creating the music is only one part of getting people to actually hear it. But underneath all of that, there's a deeper story about faith, family, loss, love, growth, and the learning how to keep moving forward while staying connected to what shaped you in the first place. And we get into his latest project, the Agape Vision. You'll hear just how personal some of those connections really are. So whether you're building your own sound, your own career, or simply trying to have the confidence to create without letting everybody else decide what box you belong in, there's something in this conversation for you. So let's get into it. This is Sculpt N Create with Saint. Welcome to Sculpt N Create, where fitness fuels creativity and helping artists, entertainers, and creatives on their physical, personal, and career growth. I'm your host, Trea Da Fit Artist, and who I have with me today is Saint. He's an alternative rap and hip-hop artist. Welcome to the show, Saint.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Saint. How y'all doing?
Glad you can make it. Where you coming from, man?
Oh, well, I'm straight out of the heart of ATL, really, in Clayton County, specifically Clayco, Georgia, specifically Morrow, Georgia. But I grew up around Morrow, Jonesboro, Riverdale, around that area.
Okay, cool. What's up, man? I'm here in the South as well, Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi to be exact. So know how it is in the South,
Yeah. Always something going on.
Already.
Yes, sir.
Even though they think we be slow, like it ain't a lot of stuff, but it be stuff going on though.
Yeah, it do be fast paced here and there.
Yeah. So, maybe it's different because y'all more on the East Coast. You right there where Atlanta is and all that stuff like that. So and then you in between Atlanta and New York. So I can see that.
Yeah, the downtown area, you know what I'm saying? Like every major city be having downtown usually be popping with something always be going on,
Okay,
type shit.
I feel you on that. All right, man. So, man, before we begin, man, let everybody know where they can find you, listen to your music, book you, the whole nine.
All right, so y'all can find me on Instagram.com. My username is Saint Dub. That's SAINTDUB, like riding on dub, Saint Dub. You can find me on Instagram at that. You can find me on Facebook, Sainty Boy. That's Sainty, 3 Y's, and Boy, BOI. You can find me on Twitter, Saint Cleasy Mofo, now referred to as X. Yeah, I guess I'd throw that in there. But you can find me on there as that. And where else? TikTok, actually, too, and YouTube under the same name, Saint Dub, SAINTDUB.
Okay. Okay, cool. Y'all check them out. All right, man. Before we get into it, so is St. Clair? That's your real name?
Yeah. That's
I
my
had
real
to ask
yeah.
that. Okay, like
No, it's all good. Yeah, it's on my
who
birth
named your
certificate and
mom?
everything. Yeah.
So what now? What you were saying?
No, I said yeah, it's on my birth certificate and everything, bro. Yeah, man. You already know.
Okay, cool. So who had the idea? Your mom, dad, or who?
Well, little fun fact, I guess, is that it's actually I'm a junior, so my dad's obviously a senior, so it's his
Mhm.
name, and he's from the UK. You know what I'm saying? Like in around I think like Kensal Green, somewhere like that. But he's like Black British, pretty much. But he came over to the States when he was younger. Met my mom's up in New York, somewhere up in New York. I guess it was like Manhattan, somewhere. I don't know the exact city, but they met in New York, where she's from. You know what I'm saying? And got married, then had me in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? And it's pretty much been that way ever since. As the story goes on, I guess from there.
Okay. Cool. All right, man. No, that was just wonder, man. I haven't heard St. Clair. I heard you have heard it in other formats, like maybe on TV, but you didn't really hear it. No, I
Mm-hmm.
haven't met nobody with St. Clair in the name or whatever, or it be their
Right.
last name. You basically,
Yeah. Last thing
but
I heard that too.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Okay, cool, man. All right, so man, let's get into it, man. So alternative rap hip hop. All right, so we have heard Christian hip hop, and so forth, and other elements of it. We don't heard of trap hip hop or trap rap. We don't heard of UK rap. Kind of similar still again to trap rap and stuff like that. We don't heard a lot of different versions or iterations of hip hop or rap. So what does it mean by you saying you are alternative rap hip hop artist?
So you got some artists nowadays that will consider themselves more in like the alternative space, which really is just like, another way of saying like alternate. It's like a different type of like hip hop rap. It's more experimental, focusing more on like, like instrumentals as far as like infusing more electronic sounds and like your instrumentals, you know what I'm saying? And really putting something out there that's a little bit I guess you could say non-traditional than your standardized rap and hip hop. I mean that's kind of like the lens I would view it in, at least right
Mm-hmm.
now. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like I
yeah,
really consider myself like, to be honest with you, genreless. You know what I'm saying? But like according to like the industry and stuff like that, you gotta
yeah.
you gotta find a certain pocket and a niche. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So
But
yeah.
preferably, man, with us being black though, I don't know if you heard T Pain said it best though. He was like, man, they don't want us to leave outside of R&B
Hmm.
or hip hop. They always got to put us in there.
Right.
I can you don't heard of he definitely got some hip hop elements in his stuff and so forth, but he's I don't feel like he's a full on hip hop artist. And
Hmm.
little Uzi Vert. I don't think
Dudes.
he's a full
Yeah.
I don't think he's a full hip hop artist.
Hmm.
What's the other guy, Lil Yachty? I don't think he's a full hip
Buddy.
hop artist. You know what I'm saying? So, but they put him in those categories. I think based on that. But we try to go country. We kind of get exiled from that or that. Kind of get
Hmm.
shamed to be not to be in that genre or don't get supported enough if we try to do other genres and so forth.
Right.
So yeah. So with that said, what do you think about that? And with you saying that is alternative and so forth, have you been, I guess, experiencing some pushback with you going in that lane and where they want like, now you this instead of what you really want to say you make or do and so forth.
Yeah. Well, I'll say it like this. Like I feel like you know, um, since I'm independent,
Mhm.
you know, I'm
Okay.
I'm allowed to make like the music that I want to make,
Right.
but it's
Okay.
just like getting it at this point to resonate. You know what I'm saying with the right audience, I guess you could say. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like I was mentioned earlier about like finding like your niche or your pocket, because
Yeah.
you'll be surprised. Like a lot of like when I look at my analytics and my numbers and stuff like that, a lot of my like core, I say like my core fan base be like people coming out of like Africa or Europe or, like further east, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And west. Like I still got people out here like who fuck with my shit, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But like I said, like as far as like people who really like, fuck with it or mess with it,
Yeah.
really be out like, like I said, like further east, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So, and as far as like pushback and stuff like that, I don't think I've gotten like that high up yet. Like to where like I could say like oh, I make enough bread off of my music for like people to really start like, or certain people to really start hating on me, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I'm really just trying to get like, I'm really focusing on like just the back end and trying to push the sound more, market it more, do podcasts like this, you know what I'm saying? And really get my sound out there before, I deal with more, I guess you could say, the controversy. I think it's coming. I honestly do, but just trying to get it out there first. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you. And the reason why I say that too, because other than to piggyback off what I was saying earlier about they want to put us in one box, I think the fans do it to it in a sense where they first hear this particular sound that you making, they fell in love with it, they know you for it, that's what they want. Then you go off the path that you were currently on or that got you to that level of notoriety or success. They not feeling it no more, and then that kind of like alienates your fan base, so to speak. Come to mind is B.O.B. He's another one where he kind of, in your own words, where he's genreless as well. He started off popish and everything, but he definitely hip hop, and he definitely got some jazz elements in his stuff, blues and everything. I haven't listened to a lot of his music lately, but I remember hearing some of the stuff in there, and then it was like, I think he even had stuff in there before it was rock and so forth, but it was like the fans wasn't feeling it because they liked him for his more his pop stuff, and I think that kind of like, I would say, smoldered his success or growth because he wanted to change and show that he can do differently. And I think another thing, and going back off what you said, you are independent. And I think that need to be shine a light on too as well, because mainstream too as well push on their artists if you sign to a record label as well, where you have to, because you, in a sense, you work for them, so you have to kind of conform a little bit. If they, let's depend on how that is, if you got the creative control or not, and so forth. Yeah. So, but they do kind of like, I'll say, well, nah, I don't like that. You should come out with this, or you need to do it like this way. So, with you being a independent artist, do you think that helps you to have the more freedom to create what you want to create? And why do you think that?
There was some good points you were making. Like, I feel like, it gives me like the freedom to have, I guess you could say, more accessibility, like to different sounds and different, like, song structure and stuff like that. I don't have to actually exactly do it like a certain, like, type of way as far as being with a label, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's almost like, I wouldn't say you need a deal. I don't think you really need, to be honest with you, I don't think you really like nowadays, especially really like need a deal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To really get popping, you know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. You got a lot of different artists or content creators who are making it big, just doing independent, like there's Hobson, you know what I'm saying? Swizz. Not Swizz Beatz, is different Swizz. He's a little bit more underground, but you know what I'm saying.
I heard of Hobson. I ain't heard of Swizz, but go ahead.
Yeah, that's like his buddy he grew up with. He rap with sometimes and stuff like that.
Okay.
But people like that. You know what I'm saying. And there's a lot more accessibility, like especially like with the I guess you could say the like the DSPs and stuff like that. Like I remember, I'm not like from the era, it's a little bit before my time. You know what I'm saying. But I know about like music a little bit back in the day. They I know they had like, you had to like go out, like shop yourself out, you know what I'm saying, to like the record labels, you know what I'm saying, from what I heard and stuff like that back in the day and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying. But like nowadays is more like you got the freedom to like just do it yourself either from home or from like, like a studio or something, to make your own studio, kind of like, you got more, I guess you could say, resources at play, to kind of do it yourself.
Right. Yeah. And the reason why I was laughing, man, so that means you definitely younger than me. So, you know what I'm saying? Because I grew up, everything that you said, I grew up, I knew you said from what I heard.
Yeah.
I can definitely confirm that's how it was, man. We definitely had to go to a record store to really like, it used to be like a whole experience. Yeah, and if his whole rollout time, because you don't even see rollouts no more. They pretty much
Yeah,
just drop the music and just go. It used to be a whole experience from the rollout. They doing a kind of like a press tour of before the album come out. They don't already dropped a couple singles. Those don't got hot. So then plus the shows and radio shows that they be on and so forth. That kind of builds up the buzz and the anticipation. And then
right.
when it's released, yeah, and you had, especially with them big artists, you have a whole line kind of similar like to Jordans and iPhones when they do releases
First
and so
drop,
forth.
yeah.
Yeah, so they camping out to get these albums and so forth. And especially they signing like a book signing and so forth. They doing the CD signing right there. So it was a whole event and everything back then to what it is now. But to your point, yeah, I would say, yeah, it is more accessible. It's definitely a whole lot more ways where people or artists want to make music, they can go and get it out without needing to sign for a record label, to a record label. Now, I know record label got the cloud, the money to push you out to get you known and seen more. But yeah, but if you definitely can get, do the grind on your own, I think it can be a lot more beneficial to you doing it independent than it is working for a record label. So I can see that when it comes to your creativity, it allows you to create, I would say, on a higher level too as well, and without restrictions too. It's like you hear that so much where the artists they feel like they bound, they can't do it, they can't create what they want to create, so that makes their music subpar when they do create it because they trying to appease to the record labels or the big wigs up there, and then they just fall out of love with it and then end up quitting. So you being independent, it might be a little bit of a harder climb, but or grind, but once you do get that traction going and so forth, and you doing it on your own, you definitely have creative control over everything, or however. So you got your hands on everything to see how you wanted it to go. So it can be you in that imprint and not the work of somebody else telling you what to do. So quote unquote, I would say puppet strings in the sense of telling you how you should make your music when you really just, you know how you want to create, how your fans like what you make, and then you can go from there. So I get you on that. Okay, cool. So with that said, so now let's talk about your music and so forth. So like with the alternative hip hop and rap and so forth, like what song do you make that goes in that constitutes to that, saying that it's alternative? I know you said you have certain electronic elements and so forth. Like, can you speak to like what type of songs do you make? Like, what does it entail? And your structure, how you approach it, how you write, and all that stuff like that. Kind of give us a more in-depth analysis of how what that means and looks like, or sounds like.
That's the meat right there. That's my favorite part. That's discussing the music.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'd say that, well, basically like my structure is, I'd say for the most part is I start out with producing, like producing the beat. You know what I'm saying? Because there was a point in time, I think like most artists start at this point where they don't produce. So, I would just, rap off of beats on YouTube, lease beats and stuff like that. And, do it that type of way, or royalty free and stuff like that. And eventually after I started doing that, I would start with like, my instrument, I'll start rapping on beats and stuff like that. But then I started to produce. So yeah, I'd say I first start with nowadays is production. I kind of get like the feel for, the ambience of the beat, you know what I'm saying? The sonic structure, stuff like that. Or whatever, how it sounds. And then once I, feel how it sounds, I start with the writing process, the songwriting process. So like, and I like to do, being the fact that like, I am alternative and stuff like that, and just in general, I like to do different song structures. Cause like, most songs start out with like your verse, chorus, second verse, second chorus, then your bridge and your third verse. Sometimes I like this, like, switch it up, you know what I'm saying? Maybe start out with a chorus first and, go into the verse, you know what I'm saying? Like, just like, kind of like mix it up a little bit, keep people on their toes, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I pretty much, a second step is probably for me is, songwriting. Then the last cherry on top, little caveat is the title. The song title usually comes last for me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's pretty much how that goes. And and to go back to backtrack a little bit to what you were saying about like sounds, like specific sounds. Last I like to infuse like more like synths, like electronic like type of sounds in some songs, and I do like to chop up samples too. I love doing that. You know what I'm saying? So I got a little bit of like, you know, the Kanye vibe going, like as far as production. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the times, like there's one of my songs called it's one of my favorites. I really enjoy making the song. You know, it's called Romance Scam, where, you know, it's about like breakups and relationships, you know, the toxic relationships and stuff like that. You know, but there's like a Frank Ocean sample that I used in there. It's from one of his songs called Ivy off his Blonde album. But anyway, like, you know, I like to, you know, take a cut from it. You know what I'm saying? Either pitch it up, pitch it down. You know what I mean? And then, you know, just chop it up to like a certain section I want. You know what I'm saying? Then kind of like just loop it back and I make the rest of the beat, like the drums and stuff, you know. Put that up in there and, you know, try to get a little some going, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, cool. There's a couple things. So it sounds like you produce your stuff too as well. So you make beats and stuff like that as well too. All right, cool. So I want to ask you, all right, so basically I hear what you saying, and that's cool that you said that you come up with your music, the name of the, or do you already heard of the beat and then you put something to it and then come up with the name like that? How did that work?
It's kind of like what I'm feeling like inspired by in the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like I wore like a kind of like stream of consciousness, you know, type deal. Like it could be something I'm going, usually most of the time it's something that I'm going through, you know, or in the moment, you know what I'm saying? That usually helps me with the creative process, you know. Sometimes I wake up like in the middle of the night, come up with like a song idea, you know, in the middle of the night. Stuff like that. I mean, like, oh, that'd be a good idea. Or like sometimes a song title will come to me where, you know, maybe driving or something like that to work, or, you know, it could be kind of random sometimes, but, you know, sometimes it comes to me like that. But, you know, normally, that's how I usually structure it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Like I said, I'm in the development stages of my music too, and when I make it and so forth, I do come up with like, I have titles in my mind. Like I want to talk about it, and okay, this will make a good title. So what I do is I don't know how to make the beats yet, but that's something I would like to do though. But when I come up with what I do, I go on BeatStars. I don't know if you heard of BeatStars, but okay. So when I look for something, I'll type in that title or something close to that title, and then when it comes, you know, you will see some of the producers actually having that title in their beats and so forth. So I try to see if I can hear what the producer was making too as well with that same title. I already had the title in my mind. So let's see if me and this artist or this producer hear the same thing, and, you know, with me laying my verses on it and so forth. So that's sometimes how I come up with, do the titles. And then another way I come up with it, if I look at what their title is and see if I can hear the same thing they're hearing. So, you know, instead of me just coming up with it at the end and so forth. But I do have some that I still haven't got any the name. Well, I got the name, but I don't have like the hook yet. You know what I'm saying? I don't really start out the verses are there, but I haven't figured out the hooks and stuff like that. Still got to go back and finish some of them. Like I need to lay a verse on and stuff like that. Some of the beats get sold, and, you know, you had to rebeat it, and that change up the stuff and everything. So that would slow me down a lot, because I'm doing this thing here with the podcast and business, and I'm trying to, like I said, okay, well, let me just slow down and then wait till I can go, you know, get the beat and then release it or whatever, like little by little here and there or whatever. And then once I get this to a place where I'm more so, I would say, running in a sense without me, I can more focus on getting the music out, cranking it out a little bit more harder then. But yeah, so with you making a beat though, like the samples, that's what I wanted to talk about too. Like, is that like a lot of red tape going through making a sample since you're making a beat, and are you recording and getting that released?
I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes it can be a little bit. I've had that like problem sometimes in the past. You know what I'm saying? It kind of depends, you know, on the song and really how you use the sample. You know what I'm saying? That depends a lot on that. You know, as long as I'll be telling like certain artists, like as long as you don't like take the entire song, you know, and stretch it out, you know, over the entirety of your song, you know what I'm saying? Then they usually flag it because, you know, they got like the automated systems and, you know, like SoundCloud and stuff like that. They could do that automatically without them even checking and stuff like that. But for the most part, yeah, like usually, like if it's like a short sample, like a short clip, like maybe just a couple of seconds, you know what I'm saying? It'll usually get cleared, you know, most of the time, you know. There'll be, like I said, there'll be little snags in the road here and there, but most of the time it'll be straight.
Okay, so do you like, all right, so when you say clear, do you like ask for their permission or you got to pay them a certain amount of thing? Like, how did that work? Or do you like let them know, like, based on how the song is, they can own 20-30% of the song? Or how did that work?
Yeah, usually if you kind of with DSPs, I think you gotta as long as you like are putting in like whatever artist, you know, when you submit your songs and stuff like that, you put in whatever artist like you may be like the sampling from, or you know, if you have a feature, you know what I'm saying, give like whoever, like the proper people their credit on there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Usually, yeah, it'll be like, you know, just like an approval because I'm with Symphonic Distribution, and you know they're good at it's technically like a contract type deal with them. So basically, it's just like
distribution deal.
Yeah, distribution deal. Yeah, where you could like release however many, you know, songs you want, you know, without having to necessarily pay for like a yearly subscription, you know, and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? To distribute and everything, like TuneCore and like a lot of the CD Baby, a lot of the other ones do. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. That's what I was wondering too, because I know some of these beats you don't, because like you ain't like you know every last song that's out there, so you can hardly, so you can't just tell if a producer sampled a song or not, and then you release that, and then now you getting flagged because you got that song out and you didn't know that it was released or whatever. So do you sell the beats that you make, or you just use them for your own use?
I was thinking about that because a couple of different homies been telling me like you should, you know, try selling beats and stuff like that. But you know, I ain't gonna lie, sometimes I'll be hogging my own beats and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I hear that beat, like, ooh, that's fire. You know, so I gotta hop on that. You know what I'm saying? But I do like what I do is I do like features. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to like do more features as I'm going along. You know what I'm saying? Just finding different people who want to like work or collab and stuff like that, and trying to do songs with you know, more people. That's really like my goal, or you know what I'm doing right now, I guess you could say, is like just finding more people to feature with, because like, you know, I got a decent, you know, discography. Like I got like a lot of different releases and stuff like that. So I'm kind of like just taking more time out to like market, you know what I'm saying, to work with other artists, you know what I'm saying, and instead of like, you know, just creating, because like, you know, you can create, you know what I'm saying, but just because you're doing it don't necessarily mean it's gonna get heard. Like, you know, you gotta you know, put yourself out there at the same time.
Right. And basically, are you on their projects or they coming to your project when you saying do something with somebody else?
Vice versa. I think I have vice versa. It's been a minute since I've been on somebody else's record, but I have a couple of songs on some other people's records. Like this one artist that I actually used to go to. I met him out in when I was in this like arts program thing or something like that. It's called like Hollywood Launch. That's back when I was doing acting or whatever. But you know, anyway, I did a couple songs with him. I did about 2 or 3 songs with him, you know, where I had featured on his record. You know what I'm saying? One of his albums, 2 songs on his album, Jupiter 9. That's more like alternative too, but it's not like rap hip hop. He kind of like, he's more like, who can I compare him to? I don't know if you heard like Alchemist, but he's kind of like that a little bit. You know, he kind of like does like instrumentals and like he plays good. He's like a multi-instrumentalist type dude. You know what I'm saying? But he sings sometimes and stuff. But I did a couple records with him. One of my other friends, he's a rapper. Did a song with him. It's called Potato Chips and Backflips. Yeah, no, it's like that's a you know, a little creative, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that one, and there was one more I can't think of at the very moment. But I did a couple of different features. Yeah.
Okay, that was up, and yeah, that what I was just like getting there for the samples and stuff like that. Like How do you like go around it or whatever? But it's certain sound like it's certain distribution platform, not whatever that can help you navigate those samples and stuff like that. Because
Yeah,
okay, because they always were saying, man, be careful, man, with them samples, and you just and they say the original is the best, but but with you being you making it your samples and stuff like that. So that's why I was wondering, like, how did that work? You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, choosing more. I was trying to like choose more music that more sounded more original than it is, because a couple of them that does have samples on them and everything. And it's kind of hard to not, because that's how
yeah,
hip hop was really was born on. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So
yeah.
it's kind
It's
of hard
true.
not to even do that. So, but it's out there just wondering, man. Okay, cool. So I would say for your album, man, like name, not like can you well for your music, not your album per se, but like for your music, like what type of music do you like? You say you made some like more like heartbreak stuff, and what else type of music say you make other than that's in this alternative rap hip
Mhm.
hop style?
Really, my sound is more like it's like about pain and struggle and confidence that comes from it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, more like a lot of people say like it could be like workout music. A lot of my songs could be like workout music. You know what I'm saying? It's really
Okay,
music that gets you like, up and moving. You know what I'm saying? Either to the gym or maybe to the club or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But it's really like, more like motivational for like more conscious, like motivational. I try to keep it there. And sometimes I sneak a little bit of like, gospel elements in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause I do consider myself a Christian. I grew up in the church, and stuff like that. My mom's kind of like always kind of try to instill that in me. You know what I'm saying? Growing
yeah,
up in the church and stuff like that.
I said mine too.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess.
for sure. So
Yeah,
sometimes her voice be ringing in my head, when I get a little too far gone. You be like, boy, you better put some of that God up in there, put some of that Jesus up in there now. Like, all right, man, all right.
yeah, I feel you.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. So, like, what songs, like, what that you, I would say, like, if somebody like just hearing you for the first time, I usually do this every now and then.
yeah.
Like, name a 5 song playlist that like describes who Saint Clair is or and what you make and so forth. Kind of get an idea of your music.
That's a good question. I would say probably there's one song I made a while back.
Yeah.
It's called Notorious to be Glorious. That probably
Notorious
be
the Glory.
Yeah, Notorious to be Glorious. Yeah, that one's more got like, like Christian or like, like almost like Christian hip hop, like
Okay.
type of elements to it. So I say that one kind of like represents me a lot. What else? I think probably what's that? Angles. I did that with a homie, you know. That's that's one of my more recent songs. It just like, it's like basically like a song like about like, like Mirror on the Wall with like Lil Wayne and like, Bruno Mars kind of
Okay.
like,
Okay.
just about that type of vibe. What else? I'll just say this one because it's an
What?
interesting one. It's more like I guess you could say like an angry rant, but it's like something I had to like, how you had the moments of like hip hop, like, where you just like some of the art, like Tupac or something goes off, or like, you know what I'm saying, or like, Big going off on, so it's kind of like one of them type of records, not
Or like
dissing
a
nobody, but like,
but
you know,
but a club record in the sense.
kind of. So it's a little more experimental, but
Okay.
it's kind of a vibe. I actually just did a music video for a little video for it. It's called I'm Venting. So I say that probably my third one.
Okay.
I got to put One Love one up in there, at least One Love. So.
I'm trying. So it's just Saint that you go by. I'm trying to find your Apple. Is you on Apple Music?
Yeah, I'm on Apple
Okay.
Music. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just Saint.
Yeah, Saint. You might have to search up one of my song titles with it because my name's a little more generic. I try to change it, but like you got to go through a whole process to get to rebrand yourself.
Okay. Yeah. Because I'm having a hard. I was trying to go along with you, man, and everything. I'm having a
Yeah,
hard time finding it. Yeah.
yeah. You can just search like my name and like one of the song titles, and it should pop up.
Yeah. I see Magic Man. I don't know this the one though.
Yeah, yeah, Matt. That's me.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
Magic Man.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
I see Saint Phoenix. Yeah. We were that's cool. But you had 3. You got 2 more.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking of. Yeah, oh yeah, it's that love song. Probably Sentimental Vibrations.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think that's one that's pretty good. And this one my homeboy likes a lot too. He used to help me film some of my music videos and stuff like that. It's called Flight 705.
Okay.
That one's more
That's a
like,
5.
yeah.
Okay. And that's 5. Okay, cool. And like I said, how long have you been making music for?
I mean, for a little. I mean, like I'd say pursuing it professionally probably since like maybe 2019.
19. Okay.
Yeah. But
That's
I've
kind
been,
of
I
when I
kind
go ahead. My bad. Now
oh,
go ahead.
you good. I was gonna say I kind of been like in the music, all my life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just kind of growing up with sound, different like the Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, of course, all the classics, Marvin Gaye, all of them, Luther Vandross. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
And but yeah, pretty much for most of my life I've been doing music. I actually started doing like acting first before I got like into like independent music and
Okay.
stuff like that. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
We'll talk about that too.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Because I remember you said that earlier, so I didn't know that. But okay. So, but you said since 2019, that was kind of like when I got the bug to really just go out and start writing, and we weren't doing anything. So
Yeah.
I wrote quite a few songs during that time and so forth. That's kind of when it started
Right.
for me to just like say I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I've been had the dream and wanting to do it since I was like 15, 16 years old, but kind of like, man, I'm finna go ahead and just try it and get out there a little more. Yeah. Okay. All right. So like now, so what started you? I know you said you had a background in it and so forth, but what started the I guess path wanting to make music and taking it serious and so forth? What started that?
I guess you say like my creative journey really started when I was I really got the bug for all of it when I was 12. It was something I didn't even really, it was kind of like I kind of like fell on it accidentally, I guess you could say, or like at least my dad did. There was like an ad on the radio, and I was driving one day, it was an ad on the radio for a stage play they was putting on, like like a Black community stage play. You know what I'm saying? And I think it was in just a Florida. Yeah, that was like it was in the Florida area. It was called The Wiz. You might have heard of it, like the Black version of The Wizard of Oz.
Oh yeah, with Michael Jackson.
Yeah, Michael Jackson, all of them.
And Diana Ross and some more, lot of people on that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a classic. But basically there was the ad on the radio for that. You know what I'm saying? My dad heard it and stuff like that, and he said, he said, "You go try out for that, boy." I was like, "Hey, really? Okay. Well, I mean, because I was shy. I was real shy, back then, so I was real timid and stuff like that. But anyway, to make a long story short, I auditioned for it. I got the role playing the wizard, like the Richard Pryor role. You know what I'm saying? As the kids thought they figured it would be like cute and funny. They see like expect somebody bigger, with like my little 12-year-old self coming out there, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's basically where it started. I got on stage and I was like, this is kind of like what I want to do, like professionally or like as a career and stuff like that. So I kind of been trying to pursue it ever since. You know what I'm saying? Like if it comes to acting, cool. If it comes to music, I prefer it to come to music because I love music more than honestly acting. They're both good, but I like music more. But whichever way it may come, I'm here for it.
Okay.
God willing.
So that basically a good segue already to the acting part, because that's kind of like the blend of both worlds. So you was like acting in it, or you made some music in it, or was singing in it or something.
Yeah, it was kind of like a musical theater. You know what I'm saying? So like it was like music in the acting and stuff like that. So it's kind of like always been. Not thinking about it, it's kind of always been both, kind of like both worlds a little bit.
Yeah. I'm glad I made that connection for you. Like, I ain't think about it like that.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So that so I guess we can go to the acting part a little bit, and then we can go back to the album. But since we already own it, you know what I'm saying. So with the acting and so forth, like how long you been doing that for? So I know it started with the musical and so forth, and then like how long you been doing it since? Like what have you been doing? Like what roles you've been playing, what shows or like gigs you've been in, what made the change where you wanted to veer off into music and chose music to be a more of that vehicle for you?
Those some good questions. So basically, I was doing mostly musical theater in Florida, and we lived in Florida, me and my parents and stuff like that.
Okay.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? And I did a couple other plays too out there besides The Wiz. I actually did The Wiz twice. It's kind of
Okay.
funny. I played a second time. Second time I played a Tin Man. You know what I'm saying? A little bit later on when I was like a teenager and stuff like that. At theater downtown in Orlando, like it's a local theater and stuff like that. And did those plays, Babes in Arms, like this really old school type of musical, whatever. What else? Yeah, different stage plays and stuff like that. And then that's when like I had found an agent, and when I was in Orlando, you know what I'm saying, like this like acting workshop or whatever, and they wanted us to move out to California. You know what I'm saying? So it was really, really, I guess. Well, no, I can't even say. I guess my mom's is like who really, and my pops too. But he had passed away around that time. I think from when.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so they in a better place. But around that time, you know what I'm saying? So we had moved to California. I started to pursue acting there and stuff like that. And I did a couple of things, you know what I'm saying, as far as like TV film, like this triathlon thing for like the Magic of Healthy Living for like Disney and stuff. Disney XD.
Yeah, I see that here.
Yeah. Had that. I did that. And what else? Earth to Echo. It's like this film that got picked up by Relativity Media. It's like this big production company. And it was in the theaters for like about, I think like like about a month or so. It came out like July 2012, 2013, something like that. But basically I was like 18 to play younger, you know what I'm saying? So I was over the age of 18. So I was allowed to be on set after a certain time, you know what I'm saying? Because like the kids usually have to go to, to school or something like that, if they're like, basically they're not allowed to stay on set after, a certain amount of hours. They're only allowed to work a certain amount of hours because they're still kids and stuff like that. So I was 18 to play younger, a stand-in photo double for one of the black kids in the movie and stuff like that, which, we're basically like understudies, like in theater, so we kind of like just, we're there for the scenes, the placements, we match their height, blah, 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 this and that or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I did all of that. But basically go back to the music, how I transitioned to music, we had moved to Nevada, because after California and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? After I did a couple of things out there, had some agent stuff going on or whatever. So we moved to Las Vegas, and that's when I really started like, trying to get into, the music thing. You know what I'm saying? Just started writing. I don't know. I literally just kind of woke up one morning and was like, I kind of want to make a song. You know what I'm saying? So I just got like, I had like the, little kind of like headphones like these, a little smaller, like with the little mic coming down and stuff like that.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Like a gaming mic. Yeah.
Yeah, like gaming mic. Yeah, I had that.
I mean, headphone. Like mic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I had that, and just started, trying to teach myself when to record. And I kind of been doing that, ever since then. You know what I'm saying? And that's pretty much how I got started in that.
Okay. All right. So you woke up just one day and said, I want to make music. But then like, okay, what made you just say, okay, this is what I want to keep doing. And I want this to really like be my driving factor or to be more successful in than the acting, so far. I don't think you don't sound like you would leave. You ain't trying to just leave acting out together, but you definitely want to push your music more. But so what's the I would say, what's the reason in there? Like why the music over the acting?
I'd say it really is just something that, I don't know, it's kind of like something that's always been in my blood. And I kind of like, wanted to express how I'm, feeling. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the only way I could really do that is by like telling my story through like song and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Especially with like, I don't know what it is about like rapping. Like obviously I've been rapping a lot less time than I've been like, singing. I've been singing along because like, the musical and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But like something about rapping, bro, is like, I feel like you get out more ideas when you rap At least to me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel
Like
you.
when you
I
sing,
feel
you're
you.
more like focusing on like the melody and stuff like that. When you rap, like you could tell a story, like your story and stuff like
Man,
that. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? It gets across better. And
Man, you saying the same thing I just said in I think I don't know what interview I said that on. I said the same thing. I like
word.
to me like when it comes to like R&B, jazz, so all where you just say all the technically quote unquote black music or whatever or music out there. It can be other stuff too. I just feel like hip hop is you definitely telling a story. You painting a picture. Well, with the R&B, they is you got soul and depth in there and so forth, but they only in that they only in like a 8 to 12 bar structure. You can't get a lot out in that time, in that length of time. They really, like I said again, they just really in that 8 bar, and then they go into the bridge and then back to the hook, then another 8. So you only got really just 16, you know what I'm saying, to just say what they want to say. So you got to really like this. How I said it, you got to really like fill in the blanks with what they are really trying to convey. But with hip hop, you getting right to it. You getting the meat and potatoes of it, and you really like expounding on what it is that you feel and think about something and so forth. So for people to really see it, and then so many other like nuances that you can go in when you go do double and triple entendres and similes and metaphors and stuff like that. It kind of flies over people's head when you do that in R&B. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The similes work a lot better, but other stuff you can't do double and triple entendres like that in R&B. What comes to mind when what's his name? Kanye West. I think you mentioned Kanye West earlier. With your sampling and so forth. Yeah. When he came out with No Church on Sunday and so forth, or whatever, You My Chick-fil-A. That's a double entendre. You know what I'm saying? Right. When he was saying it, but a lot of folks wouldn't get like, huh? What you mean? No Chick-fil-A, but he was just saying, I'm being with the family and everything. Yeah. I love you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's basically what he was saying. So people weren't really getting it. So that's what I'm saying. It flies over your head. But he coming from hip hop, bringing it into, in the R&B scene and so forth. I mean, not R&B where, more of a, that was a church gospel album when he came out. Yeah, gospel, yeah. But I'm just saying it went over people's head, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure. I get it.
Yeah. So I agree with you there wholeheartedly, man. It's just like nothing like it, man. So especially when I got exposed to it, cause I see here you say you come from a church background. I think a lot of us do in our culture and so forth. Right. But when I was over my cousin's house in Alabama and so forth, when I got exposed to music, hip hop, that's when it was like it opened up a whole new world to me then, because I was very creative then. I wrote like poems and stuff like that. Okay. Real good at that and draw and all that stuff like that. So when I heard that, I was like, oh, I can put this to a beat and everything. That's when it was kind of born for me for wanting to make music then. And so, but yeah, so that's cool, man. That you said that. I like that's confirmation that I'm feeling the same thing. So somebody else feeling like that too. Yeah. Most definitely. And so now we can segue back to, we already talked about the acting a little bit. We can segue back to the music. You stated here that you actually was in New York Weekly for the publication of your hit single Magic Man. So let's talk about Magic Man. What is Magic Man about, and how did that feel with you being featured on New York Weekly and so forth?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I was like, oh, but the song is like, I believe they described it as a trippy sonic experience. And I was like, I can kind of get with that. I kind of get with that. It was described. But yeah, that's pretty much, what it is. More, I made it, well, my intention going into it was like to make it more of like, something more pop. You know what I'm saying? Like something that like everybody can kind of enjoy and listen to. Something you would hear at like, maybe the beach or something like that, or on vacation or something. You know what I mean? But that was kind of my idea going into it with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I was like,
Okay. Cool. I mean, how did it feel when you got featured in the New York Weekly?
Oh yeah, it was cool. I was like, that's pretty.
Mama, we up.
Yeah, we up. Nigga, we made it.
Most definitely, man. I feel you. Okay, that was up, man. So that's a testament to like from 2019 to now. So what, like 6-7 years now?
Yeah.
And you've been on the grind and you already getting that notoriety. Most people don't really get that and that, that soon, it definitely, they be in the grind 10, 15, years before they really like get that kind of shine or some kind of notoriety and so forth and everything.
Right.
So,
yeah, that's true.
so
I'm
that
grateful.
means,
Thank God.
more definitely, man. So that means that they just keep pushing, man.
Yeah.
So that it's only going to go up from there.
Appreciate it.
Now, how many albums do you have out, by the way, before I ask this question?
I think I just released one. So I think it's about like 7 or 8, I think, so far.
7 or 8? Oh, yeah, you've been working. So are these EPs or LPs? What?
Well, like a mix between like EEPs and like albums. Yeah.
Okay.
I just
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Be going sometimes.
And say what now?
No, I said sometimes I guess I just be going.
Okay.
I'm trying to like slow down, like, with my release process, you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm trying to release less music.
But yeah.
Yeah.
You dropping out pretty quick. That means you almost two albums a year, sound like it almost, and everything, or 1.5 albums a year. But not as much as what's his name, LaRussell.
LaRussell, yeah, I heard of him. Yeah,
LaRussell got about like 50 albums out in everything. That
boy cooking, boy.
You think I'm kidding? If you go to his, you ever heard of LaRussell?
Yeah.
Okay, if you go to his Apple Music and so forth, you'll see he been like almost like he been putting like an album out each month, just about, and everything or whatever. He I don't know if that's good or bad, but he say he making it like that's his real estate in a sense, or his stock or whatever to pull from. No matter if people get to it later or now, it ain't going nowhere. It's still gonna go on. So that's how he looking at it. And everything, instead of having a release and all this stuff like that. So that's how he look. I'm learning. I'm trying to, like, let's say I'm researching development, like see what my process would be when I start releasing music. Do I need to come out? 'Cause I heard the whole thing about, they were saying that you gotta like do this another clue, and then we're gonna go into the actual album that you released to this year. But they say that you actually, like, the process I heard, they say you keep putting out a single until somebody notices you, and then once they start liking you and requiring an album, then that's when you put out your album. And then because you just put out an album, nobody really know you. All that most of their music is not getting heard and so forth. So what was your process and everything? How has your journey been? So it seemed like with you putting out your albums and so forth, you have been getting more success if you've been on the New York Weekly and so forth. So, like, what was your experience like with that, or what's your take on that?
Well, yeah, I guess especially early on when I started making music, I honestly was just hungry to, like, just to put it out there, like, just to make, like, like, to get stuff off my chest, you know what I'm saying? Just like make music, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of why I guess you say my release process is kind of like, more like back to back to back. But, I feel like now I'm kind of like, starting to evolve more, mature more and stuff like that. So I'm trying to, like, spread them out more. You know what I'm saying? Like, give people something to digest, first before they engage with the next project and stuff like that. Not be as spontaneous. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still try to keep people on their toes here and there and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. And outside them liking your music, is it getting well received with you? Pumping out a little bit, quicker and having an album, albums out, or is your singles taking off more than your albums? Like, what's that dynamic?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, point I want to mention that. Yeah, as far as, like, I feel like, singles do obviously, a lot better. You know what I'm saying? My singles and stuff like that. I feel like I got a lot more, like, attention on, like I said, on SoundCloud. You know what I'm saying? Than, like, the DSPs. The DSPs, you more gotta, like, push your stuff out there. You know what I'm saying? Since, like, you have the potential to make money off of it on there. But SoundCloud, I feel like I'll be getting some decent, streams. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Okay.
Because, like, I used to do actually, like, little, I guess you could say when I first started out, I used to do, like, cover songs, like, a certain, artist or whatever. Because, like, when you sing like another artist's song, people already know that song, you know what I'm saying? So they more likely going to listen to that one than, like, the original one. They don't really know you like that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah. You know what? When you said the cover song, like, is it hip hop cover songs or is it more like an actual like R&B song or something like that you covering?
Yeah, more like that. Yeah, like it could be like an R&B or like I guess you could say like some
Okay,
alternative type stuff.
okay,
Yeah, things like that. Yeah.
okay, okay. Because what I'm getting at is you don't hear a lot of cover hip hop songs, or whatever. If they
Mhm.
do, they usually put it in a more singing format than they do in a more somebody else rapping it or whatever. I want to see
Yeah,
more
yeah,
of that.
yeah.
You ever
Yeah.
if you ever noticed that, yeah. So I want to see more of that. I want to like it's some people out there just making in their own way, but still that same song or whatever. Or whatever. I would like to see more of that coming on or whatever. But okay, cool. So I see here that your latest release, is that how you say Agape Vision? Is that
A-
I'm saying that right?
Agape.
Agape. Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking that. I was like, man, I should have followed my first mind.
You
You
good?
know what
You
I'm saying? But
good?
yeah, the Agape Vision that you released last month. So how's the talk about that album? Like, what was your approach to it? What's the vibe or the direction behind it, and so forth? And how's it faring along right now since it's released?
Pretty decent. It's more like, well, okay, like the title itself is more of like, because it's basically a play on my mother and father's first church building that they got, you know what I'm
Okay.
saying, together in Atlanta, you know what I'm saying, called Alpha and Omega Agape Outreach Ministry.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So agape, is like another word for love. I believe it's like Latin or Hebrew. I think it's like Hebrew or something like that, but it's basically another word for love, so it's like pretty much the love vision. You know what I'm saying? It's like learning, like basically now, especially as I'm getting older now and stuff. Like I'm 32 now and stuff. So I'm just kind of learning how to, let things go. And practice more forgiveness and stuff like that and everything. But yeah, that's basically like the main theme of like the album.
Okay. Now how many tracks is it? Let me see if I can find it.
I think it's 7.
7.
I believe so. Let me just make sure. Let me come here.
Are you looking it up too? I'm trying to find
Yeah,
it, man.
man.
See if I'm.
Yeah, it'll be all over the place sometimes. Hold on, let me see. I think it's
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. The Agape Vision. Let me see. Is it on Apple Music? Yeah, I see
uh
Saint. Yeah, I see. I see it. I see it.
okay. Yeah.
Okay. So that's how I found you. I couldn't find you at first when I just typed in Saint. Okay, I see it. Yeah. Yeah. 7 track. Okay. Doppler effect, the parallax perspective, the side effects featuring steel, the ballerina, the wedding bells, the shy guy, and WWJD. So what would Jesus do? Yeah, so and everything. Okay, cool. So there's more so like a ode to your parents and so forth. 'Cause I see, you didn't mention that your mom passed. I'm sorry to hear that too, as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically a honoring them in they name and so forth. Would you say?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah, it's got like themes on there like about my I guess yeah, my girlfriend, you know what I'm saying? The woman that I'm
Mm,
currently dating right now, and
okay,
trying to keep things going with that. You know what I'm saying?
okay,
And what else? Family. You know what I'm saying? What else? Yeah, especially like just relationships. Really, like the ups and downs of like relationships. What you go
okay,
through with like relationships with
okay.
family. Wife,
Relationships
girlfriend,
as
and
a
stuff
whole.
like that. Yeah, mostly. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, I feel you on that. Okay, that was up, man. And then, like, so how is it faring along since it's released and so forth? Like, what kind of reactions are you getting from it and so forth?
Yeah, it's pretty decent. Like really, I'm kind of like I guess you could say a little backlog. I'm really promoting my last whatchamacallit EP, Methylene Blue.
I see
That's
that too.
Yeah, that's the one I'm pretty much promoting now. A couple songs off of there. I feel like that's one of my better projects. I feel like I got more of an opportunity to really like, work with some more people, you know what I'm saying? And get them on it, like, two of my Canadian friends or whatever. He for Methylene Blue, he produced I think like 2 of the songs on there. One of my other Canadian friends, he produced one of the songs on there. So 3 are produced by them, and the other 2 are produced by me. But anyway, yeah, I'm really just promoting that one right now. 2 of the songs off of that record called Chops and Stomps.
So you
Benton, yeah.
go. Okay, so so your most current promotion is on the Methylene Blue.
Yeah. It's still getting some streams on. It's like transferring over like some streams on onto the Agape Vision. I'm getting some decent streams on that, but I have yet to like really like start pushing it.
Pushing it. Okay, yeah. I got you. Okay, yeah. Now I would go when it went to your Spotify because I seen it on your stream and everything. I seen the Chomp and Stomp. So okay, it didn't say Methylene Blue, but on Apple Music when I found it during the Agape Vision. All that's popping up like in a way that I can like follow it in this sense. Okay. All right, cool. So like what's the Methylene Blue about?
Methylene Blue? I don't know. It's more like just a record about getting it off your chest. I guess you could say it's one of my one of those type records. You know what I'm saying?
Well, like for is just thoughts in general, or is it like something you're angry about or sad about? What are you fully like getting off your chest?
Yeah, like so a little bit, anger.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's more like bravado too. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like talk your shit type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you.
Like blow your house down. That's more like a talk your shit.
Yeah, I see that. Okay, yeah, just not know that. Yeah.
Yeah, and Chops and Stomps is similar to that too. Benton is a little bit more experimental, but that's like my, guess you say my angry song. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But yeah, and what else? The Antidote to Chaos, not my favorite personally for me making it, but it's doing okay. I guess that was a single, but yeah.
Okay, all right, cool. It was up, man. And so like, let's see, like so. Now, what I would say, what's in the pipeline for you now? Like after, you still pushing Methylene Blue and Agape Vision, you going to push that out soon? What's now in the pipeline for you? Is it more acting a little bit, or is it still pushing the music a little bit more longer, or what?
Really just, working this 9 to 5 for now to fund the music. You know what I'm saying? To push whatever I have out now. You know what I'm saying? I'm really trying to do some live booking, some live shows, get my name out there that way too, in person and stuff like that. Just keeping it going with the website and everything. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I do want, and obviously, like we all do, I want to take it to the next level. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Take it all the way I could take it.
Oh yeah. I mean, you getting featured, getting notarized, so you just got to keep grinding, man, and that buzz gonna keep rising up, man, and so forth. Yeah. Oh yeah. And then just keep your mom and dad close to you, man, because I lost my dad, so I do know how that is and so forth. So yeah. It been, I don't know how long you had been with yours, but mine, he died in 2014. So what that was? It is over 12 years, and everything like that. So
yeah,
I mean over 10 years, yeah. So yeah, about 12 years going on 13 and so forth. So yeah, so I definitely understand how that is, man. Everything, you never did like think about certain things until they gone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
All they words like this, come flooding back in.
Yeah, and then okay, I feel you on that. Okay, and now with you, I got to be remiss if I ain't asked this. Like, so what is your fitness stuff like? So how are you keeping sane? Like, through work, and I know it is for me. I know it probably is for you. Music definitely is an outlet, like you said before, to get your frustrations out, your thoughts out, and stuff like that, to get off your chest. Kind of like isn't therapeutic in a way, but also too, what else do you help to get yourself, sane and for if it is fitness, what is that like? What's your routine like to help you keep afloat to be able to do your creativity at a high level?
To try and stay close to God. I meditate from time to time, or I pray, especially pray. I like to stay engaged with like just trying to stay sharp, stay, ahead of the game, like, or at least on par with the game as far as like what's going on in music. Like I'll be on like, like, YouTube, looking up maybe like stuff on like philosophy or, you know, music news, obviously, and, things of that nature and stuff, like motivational type stuff. I try to keep that in the loop and everything. Or sometimes just something to make me laugh, something funny, you know what I'm saying? Like a comedy video or something. So I look up,
Yeah.
so I look like Richard Pryor or something from back in the day, something like to get me
Right.
laughing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I know when I used to like get upset and so forth, I used to like growing up, I used to play like video games. Or you mad at something, I go play Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat or something like that, trying to knock somebody's head off. Like that's
Right,
how I
right.
get.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
that's
gonna
how
say
I blew
that
my
too.
stuff.
Yeah, I
Okay.
love video games. I got to get a new system. I had to pawn my last one. I got to get a new
Yeah.
system. Yeah, but definitely that. I'm
Okay.
a big gamer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My son is now. Yeah, I ain't played games in a while. I need to get back into it, and everything, because it is a cool outlet sometimes. But I be having so much going.
Yeah.
It's I don't but yeah, but definitely, he got the PlayStation 5 and other stuff he be playing and
Okay.
everything as well. So yeah. Okay. All right. So man, we talked about a lot today, man. So is there anything else that you would like to talk about that we haven't discussed today?
I want to say a little something motivational, if I can, real quick. You know what I'm
Go ahead.
saying? I just want to say for anybody who's listening or watching, you know what I'm saying, on the internet space and stuff like that. Just stay focused on what matters. You know what I'm saying, and leave everything else by the wayside. Stay focused on what matters. Don't let the world get you down. Whatever you're going through. You know what I'm saying, as far as anything in life can kind of throw us off course sometimes to distract us. You know what I'm saying? But there's a saying I was talking about my homeboy. You're talking about it's a quote from the Bible. It's called "Idle time is the devil's workshop." You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
just like I said, just stay focused on what really matters. You know what I'm saying? Don't be too hard on yourself, because I've been hard on myself a lot in my life. You know what I'm saying? And most of all, let's just forgive ourselves. For anything that we may feel guilty of. Something like we just forgive ourselves, whatever it may be. Start. I think that's where a good place it starts with. Not to get too therapy session, but you know what I'm saying. I had to get in there a little bit. I let
I
say
feel
a little something.
Okay, and I appreciate you for sharing that. So, out of everything that we talked about today, what would you say are the biggest takeaways somebody can get from this conversation we had?
Biggest takeaways are, say, focus on your dreams, your goals, and what you want to do in life. You know what I'm saying? Dare to be different as far as music.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, don't be afraid to venture out into just like creatively speaking, like venture out and try something new. If it works, cool. Say if it doesn't, you always got the opportunity to try something else.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. And let everybody know once again, man, where they can listen to your music, book, learn more about you, and maybe book you and so forth, the whole nine. Set your links out again.
All right, so I'm Instagram, Saint Dub. That's Saint Dub, riding on dubs, SAINTDUB. TikTok under the same name. YouTube under the same name. X, Saint Cleasy Mofo. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can check out my website, stclairdewberry.com. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can try and buy some merch or buy something from little old me if y'all want, stuff like that.
Okay, cool. Y'all check them out. And I like that riding on dubs, man. It made me laugh the first time I heard it. Everything you said. Yeah.
It's so stupid. I can't. I guess.
Okay, that was up, man. And I see you got 3 names. And so is those and before we get out of here, those the 3, like, I guess, packaging your stuff in a sort of sense?
Well, basically on SoundCloud it's Sainy Boy. I believe that one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on Sainy Boy on my SoundCloud, and everything else is pretty much just Saint, like on Spotify, Apple Music, all of them.
Okay, all right. Yeah, they want to make that clarify the distinction for people. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, that was up. All right, man. We're gonna end it here. I appreciate you, Saint, for coming on the show. sharing your journey, your insights, and your goals, and looking for more and more success for you in the future but as you keep growing. So with that said, we out of here. Stay sculpting, stay creating. Peace. Ja. Thank you for tuning in to this episode. If you enjoyed it, be sure to follow us on social media and subscribe to the show wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. If you're looking for fitness coaching to help you reach your goals, want to join our animated network for fitness guidance, collaborations, networking, and community, or are interested in being a guest on the show, check out the links in the description. Stay creative, stay fit, and we'll holler at you next time.